All right, hello everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. Today is February the 28th, the last day of February 2025. Sorry, of course, I just get the hiccups as soon as I start talking. We are back learning some Python here. A little bit, honestly, a little bit sleepy today. So we gotta wake up here. We gotta wake up and get to work here. Time to study, time to learn. We are going to be taking a stab and jump back into. Let me hold on. Let me go ahead and. We're going to be taking a step back into the Harvard CS50X 2025 Week 8 on JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So we're going to be completing the two problems here for Week 8, hopefully today. And then if we have some time, we can do a little bit of work on the Small Business Manager. But our main goal for today is to complete this week entirely. So by the end of today, hopefully we are done and moved on to Week 9. All right, let's go ahead and get started for today. Let me go ahead and let people know in the Discord what's going on. Hold on one sec. All right, let's see. I'm working Harvard CS50X Week 8 PSET. Hold on one sec. There we go. All right, let's get this show on the road. How about ya? Hey, Jamion, how's it going? I appreciate you coming in. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Let me know if I did not. I'll try my best to get that fixed up for you. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, like I said, we are starting off with Harvard CS50X Week 8, Problem Set 8, which is going to be on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We got a little bit of practice during the lecture, and a lot of examples given to us live during that lecture that we followed along with for it, HTML, a little bit of CSS styling, and a little bit of JavaScript. So hopefully we can work through these problems tonight and get through them here. So the first one is going to be trivia. So we're going to write a web page that lets users answer trivia questions. So get started by clicking inside your terminal window, then execute cd by itself. Should find this prompt. Okay. Boom. Then we're going to do this link here to get the source code. There we go. We're going to unzip this guy. Oop. And then we're going to remove. Yes. And then we can see, and then we'll go ahead and move this into our problem set. And then just integrate it here. Cool. All right, so this is our HTML that we were given. So let's go ahead and evaluate this HTML. It's fairly short here. So let's go ahead and we'll make some comments and we'll evaluate what's going on. So we have doc type HTML, okay? English language for this type, HTML page. Our header, we have a title of trivia. We have a link to a style sheet, and we also have a link to an external font, which is also related to the style sheet. Okay, so we're pulling from the Google API's fonts request to basically get access to those fonts. Okay, so our to-do is to add JavaScript here. Okay. Within our head. So we're going to add JavaScript within the head. Our body is we have a div within our body, like a container for our class header, which is trivia. We have a div, which is a class container. And then we have a div inside of that, which is a class section. The first section within this container div has a multiple choice, add multiple choice questions here. And then the second section within this div container, or this multiple choice container, is the free response. So add a free response question here. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay. Hey, keep cool. How's it going? Edwards404, welcome back. And Tim, welcome back in, everybody. Hope you guys are enjoying me. Go ahead and throw a thumbs up on the stream if you're hopping in here. Thank you guys so much for coming in here. If you're new, welcome. If you're new, my name is Michael, 26 years old, have a degree in human bio and minor in chemistry. I work as a formulation chemist, teaching myself how to code for the past 6, 7 months. I'll have to actually tally up the total from when I started. I'll have to go back and see when I made my first file or something. But yeah, it's been about a little over half a year now, and we've come quite a long way. We're almost completed with the Harvard CS50X course here, and we are finishing up week 8 today, hopefully. If you guys are taking this course alongside me, let me know what week you're on, what you enjoy about it. Let me also know what you're just studying, if you're just working on something in the background. What are you guys working on? Okay, so implementation details. So let's go in here and let's do HTTP server, right? So this should give us a server. Now we can see this index HTML, right? So we have trivia and we have multiple choice and free response. Okay. Design a web page using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to let users answer trivia questions. In index.html, add beneath the part 1 a multiple choice trivia question of your choosing with HTML. You should use an H3 heading for the text of your question. You should have one button for each of the possible answer choices. There should be at least 3 answer choices, of which exactly 1 should be correct. Using JavaScript, add logic so that the buttons change colors when a user clicks on them. If a user clicks on a button with an incorrect answer, the button should turn red and the text should appear beneath the question that says incorrect. If a user clicks on a button with the correct answer, the button should return the text green and the button should turn green and the text should appear beneath the question that says correct. In index.html, add beneath part 2 a text-based free response question of your choosing. You should use an H3 heading for the question, and you should use an input field to let the user type a response. You should use a button to let the user confirm their answer. Using JavaScript, add logic so that the field text changes colors when a user confirms their answer. So the text field changes color. If the user types an incorrect answer and presses the confirmation button, the text field should turn red and the text should appear beneath the question that says incorrect. If the user types the correct answer and presses the confirmation button, the input field should turn green and the text should appear beneath the question that says correct. Optionally, you may edit the CSS to change the style of your web page, add additional trivia questions. Okay. Okay, let's get started here. Hey, Joseph Ponce, welcome in. Thanks so much for coming in. You're awesome. Thanks for leaving a comment. Okay. So let's go ahead and capture just this one step at a time. So in index.html, add beneath the part 1, right, multiple choice question here. So we're going to add it here, an H3 heading. Inside we'll say, what kind of question? What kind of question should we do? Let's just say simply, what is 2 plus 2? Easy enough, right? So let's make a container actually called a div. And let's give it a class of a quote question, right? Right, so now we have a div container for a question itself. So then we'll have an H3 where this will say the trivia question. So for example, we'll say what is 2 plus 2? And then we have buttons right? We have 3 of them. At least 3 possible choices, right? Where we'll have, you know, an answer of 4 for this button, an answer of 5 for this button, 3, 4, and 5, right? Simply enough. Now, let's go ahead and see what that looks like. All right. Woo! Okay. All right. Funny enough. Make it a chemistry quiz, something basic. Yeah, we'll have to. I'll fill. These are just dummy for now. We'll fill in with something more personable later. Just for right now, we're getting the structure going here. Once we have a working thing, we'll just change the questions up, and it'll be really easy. So we have a container here for the question itself, right? And then we have the question. Um, we're going to give this button a unique ID, or an ID of incorrect answer, right? And then give this one the same ID. Now I know IDs are supposed to be unique, but both of these serve the same purpose on this local level. So should I use an ID or a shared class to associate these as the incorrect answer? And then this one has an ID of equal correct answer. Right, so now I can actually access via their IDs the correct answer for the specific question within this div, right? So I'll give this class a specific ID though of question 1, right? So we can actually, you know, style this specific question if we want to make them different. Feels good, positive output. Hey, Richard, welcome back. How's it going? I think it would be class for the incorrect. Ningu says, hello, hello. May I ask why you chose Python over? Oh, why why isn't that chat link working? Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Here, sorry. Give me 1 second. Want to get that chat set up so it's working appropriately. Give me 1 second. Pop out. Copy website address. Come into here. YouTube chat. Okay. There we go. I'll move the chat down though. How about? That. There we go. How's that look? Let me know how that looks. I'll refresh my stream here, see it. There we go. Okay, I like that. I like that. Yeah, so why I chose Python over something like CPP, what do you mean CPP? There you go. Now the chat is actually using the right link so you can read the chat here. Live as it comes in. On the actual screen, right? C++, oh, C++, gotcha. Honestly, I didn't even really consider C++. I didn't really know it was a thing. Like I said, came into this completely from a beginner point of view and perspective, with never having any coding experience before, and often resources online I looked at suggested taking a stab at Python first, which was a great opportunity to get some basic understanding using some pretty simple syntax, and then I expanded further into taking some more courses as we are now, starting with C and then JavaScript, HTML, CSS. And we're just going from here, right? We got to start somewhere. Python just was really easy, like, for the syntax and verbiage of just simple English, not many, symbols and things like that to just get started with. Okay, so you would want classes for incorrect answer. So class, incorrect answer. Class, correct answer. So this would have an ID of question 1 inside of this class question. So then that's just a single question. So button, we have to get button on click for this specific question, right? So we need to say we need to also apply the um, the paragraph anchor, right? And say uh, incorrect, and then we need to do one more and then say correct, and give this also a class of incorrect of correct, I think would be a good idea. So we can display this. Maybe not, because it's not actually the correct answer. It's just what's displayed. So can I make this by default be invisible? Is there visible equals false? Is there visible equals false? So I can have this false by default. How can I get things to be false to appear? Maybe we'll focus on that part in a second, actually. So let's first we have each button should be a possible choices. There should be at least 3 choices with exactly one correct answer. Using JavaScript, add logic so the buttons change colors when a user clicks on them. Okay, so we have a script here. We need to say document dot what is from my notes? Let me look here in my notes. Home. No, which one do you use? Register, no. Phone book. Link. Where's my, here we go. So query selector on form, add event listener for the submit. Okay. So let me exit out some stuff here. It's hello.html. Okay. Hello. Okay, so document dot query selector, so that will select the first instance of, we don't want form. This isn't a form per se. Well, it should be actually, right? So let's put this within a form. right? Let's put it within a form. And then for forms, we have to provide some parameters here. Autocomplete off. Well, it's not a form because actually it's not, we're not, the form would be for the free response actually. So to take that back. Hey Wing Hong, how's it going? Non extra nonsensical nonsense mushrooms on pizza. I agree with that one. Okay, let's keep going here. So we're not creating a form because we're not, creating like a section for a user to type. It's not a form. That's going to be for the free response. So, but what will this be? How can we capture this specific event? Query selector. So let's look up query selector. Right, let's look up this guy. The query selector in JavaScript method that allows you to select the first element that matches a specified CSS selector is commonly used to retrieve elements. Okay, so I could go like this, right? I could go like this. Document dot query selector on the quote to access the ID of question one is hashtag question one. So we're going to access the question one query selector. We're going to do the event listener. Is that the right function? Add event listener with the E capitalized. We're going to look for on click, right? For question one, add event listener on click. Container. So then he runs this function. When they submit, he calls this function, which will capture the on the event to alert hmm. Interesting. So we're listening to, we're scanning the document. Query selector. Add event listener on click, because that's one of our events. We want to call a function for the event where we don't alert let's go to our notes here. So week 8 notes. These are our events. Click. So it's not on click, it's click. Okay. We want to change color to red. or to where change, unload, load, key up, focus. Here we go. This is the learning here in JavaScript. I'm not sure what else to do here. So wrong one. Indicate. Bootstrap JS. So what are we doing here in this problem? We're doing the query selector on the form. Submit, add event listener. We're calling the function for the event, making an alert. I guess let's just make an alert, right? And prevent default. Let's just at least make an alert for when a click happens, right? So alert, quote, clicked, button clicked, right? For button clicked, we'll put button value equals equals quote plus document dot query selector for the I don't know how to put in the value. I don't know how to insert the value. Button clicked, we'll just say, I guess. And then we prevent default, event.prevent default. Like so. Okay, so now if I go here, close that. And then close that, and in there, like so. Okay. Jacob, we're gonna need you here. I'm not sure how to actually get some of these, what to do and how to change over some of these things, these attributes or something. So, okay, so this is what I got so far. Let me inspect. Let me see if do I have any errors. Add event listener. So it's trying to read. How do I get it to prevent? How do I get it to do the thing? How can you have script wait until doc is fully parsed? Doc content loaded event. Add event. Doc content loaded function. Click. Someone mentioned there's a way defer. Like that. So now what happens if I load this? Still get the error. Add event listeners getting. I have click and a function here, so it's taking in two parameters. Can't do anything with that. So I can't even click the button. So the button, incorrect answer, incorrect answer. Do we need to give it an action or something? So let's try to find an example of a button we use. Which one do we use? Register? Here. Autofocus, autocomplete, placeholder, type, phone. So this button just works as it is in this form. Did I use any other buttons? Let's see. No, I don't think so. Hey Eclipse, how's it going? Welcome in. Appreciate you for joining me here. People chatting up about C++, it sounds like. Hey, Tarizion, how's it going? Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Let me know if I did or not. Hopefully I did. Thanks for joining me here. Okay, so my button isn't exactly clickable. So I want to prompt here and say, no, I'll take this and say, let me take this right here, and I'll take this and say, I am working on a beginner HTML project. I am going to show you my structure so far. Please don't show me any code, but instead use words to describe improvements or areas where I have errors. I will make the changes myself. There we go. Let's see how it likes this. Good idea. Show your structure. Okay. Your structure is generally well organized, but here's some areas of improvements. Semantic HTML. Consider using header instead of div class equals header. Well, that's what they gave me, whatever. Similarly, a section could replace div class section, making it cleaner, whatever. Use button elements with ARIA label attributes on proper text contents that convey meanings. Right now, they only have numbers, which may not be clear to screen readers. Add a role, group, or a field set with legend for the multiple choice questions to associate them correctly. CSS considerations. If you plan to style correctly and incorrect answers, completely different attributes. Use data attributes like data correct equals true instead of class names like correct answer and incorrect answer. This prevents styling from giving away the answer. Future expandability. If you intend to have multiple questions, consider wrapping them in a div class questions container, keeping them organized. Okay. Interesting suggestions. You'll need a JavaScript for your correct answer result display your if-else conditions. Tahir Zion. Tahir Zion. Awesome. Okay, Tahir Zion. Gotcha. Is this a problem set? Yeah, this is the weekly problem set here. How do you feel about your learning experience so far? It's been really fun so far. I've learned a lot. Honestly, we've come a long way from where we started, knowing nothing. We have a long ways to go, though. It seems like the light is never ending on all of this learning, which is can be daunting, to be honest. But and I'm kind of getting to a point where we are slowing down a little bit in the amount of content or info we're able to intake, because topics are starting to get more and more complex, and at least with some of our more in-depth learning. All right. Got a cutie orange here. We're snacking on. What you guys snacking on? What are you guys snacking on tonight? Let me know. All right. Let's keep it going here. Okay. So we're going to ignore the header and section stuff. So button. Elements like aria, label, attributes, or proper text content that convey meaning. Right now they only have numbers, which may be unclear to screen readers. Add a role group or a field set with legend for multiple choice questions to associate them correctly. Consider okay, so we'll give these, rather than a class, we'll give them data correct equals true. So data correct equals quote true equals false. Right? So that'll get copied over to the number 5 answer. And then we're also going to copy that over here, but make this data correct true here. Okay. So then, what does that do? We refresh. Still getting errors here for our JavaScript. Okay. Let's do this. Let's take this part here now and let's throw, okay. I have made some updates and I would like some feedback from here. If I did not update one of your suggestions, I did not want it. Looks solid. Here's some focused feedback and areas to refine further. Consider wrapping the buttons in a field set with a legend. What is 2 plus 2? This makes it more accessible for screen readers and clear groups the answers as related. Since you replace class-based correctness indicators with data correct, ensure that JavaScript correctly selects and evaluates the attribute dataset.correct equal true. Okay. So then, what is this part about field set and legend? Could you give me more information on the field set and legend tags? Yes, the field set and legend elements are used to group related form elements, improving accessibility and organization. How they work. Field set creates a box around related form elements such as multiple choice questions. Legend acts as a label for the field set, providing contents for the grouped elements. Okay, so I could make my legend basically the question itself. But it wants H3 to be my question. Could I wrap field set? So Don't show any code. It's easy. See, this ChatGPT is really annoying. It forgets really easily. Like, and maybe it's because I don't have an account, like an actual account or whatever, like a premium version. But it just always forgets. My task is to use the H3 header tag as my question. Since your class requires using the existing header for the question, you can still group the answers choice logically without changing the structure. Here's how you can refine your approach. Keep the H3 header. Maintain the group elements around the buttons. This ensure a clear focus. Okay, so I can do a field set tag and then include within the field set the buttons, and then I can give this field set a ID of, or a class equal to quote answers, and I can give it an ID of question 1 dash answers, right? So then I can wrap so what does that look like? Okay, so that wraps that like so. Now can I apply a, like it said before, a legend tag with this inside for that field set? Or does this have to be within the field set? Let's see. So now what if I wrap this, if I tuck this legend inside the field set like so? Perfect. Now that looks okay, so it has to be within. There we go. That looks nice. I like that. Sorry guys, I'm really zoned in here, not waiting in the chat. It's my fault. Terizion says, you are motivating me a lot to really get grinding. I have been struggling bad in my machine learning class this semester. Let me if you could share more about your machine learning class. I'm very interested to know more about that. Let me know your experiences with the machine learning class. We are hoping to get into machine learning in Python shortly on the channel. I know I've been teasing this book for months and months now, but we're just not ready, unfortunately, mathematically to actually take a stab at this. I think it might just be a little bit too complex for us at the moment. So once I finish the Harvard CS50X course, we're going to be diving into some more math courses as well as programming related courses to hopefully get into intertwining the two subjects together. So if you're interested in joining me along that, please consider following along with me here. For those that don't know, I'm 26 years old. I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company where I make biological controls that are used in diagnostics and clinical research. So yeah, I've been doing that ever since I graduated college back in 2021, and I've been teaching myself how to code for about 6-7 months now. About to buy some ketchup chips. Nice. Happy coding, brother. Catch you later. I'm going to catch some Z's. See you later, Jamion. Welcome. I appreciate you for coming in and hanging out with me for a little bit. Is tea a snack? Because I have it every 30 minutes. No wonder you're so juiced, Mahan. You stay awake until like 4 or 5 in the morning. You're constantly pounding the tea. What's your guys' favorite coding language? My Python for sure for me so far. I did the same LeetCode problem again from yesterday too this afternoon. And yeah, we're right. Doing it again off the top of your head really helps you remember. Yeah, I'm going to try to take a stab at it tonight too, again, whether it be on or off stream, just to solidify. If you guys don't remember, yesterday we completed the target value in a 2D matrix problem on LeetCode. I still messed up a couple of the edge cases though. Okay. Oh, code by Chris just failed a last round interview. It's all right, man. Things happen for a reason. So the next one or wherever it works out will, wherever it works out for you will be where you're supposed to be. True grinding project. All right. Let's keep going here. Okay, so let's go past this. Okay, I made some more changes. Let me know how this looks. I think I am good on features. Like, I don't really think it needs to give me any more. So let's go ahead and take this and throw it in here. Right? Your structure is well organized, but your small refinements to consider. Hierarchy issue with legend at H3. The legend should not contain a heading tag. Instead, just use a plain text for the question. Heading tag inside legend is unnecessary and can cause accessibility issues. Since field set already groups the answers, the extra div class question may not be needed. The field set serves that purpose. So we have a question for the entire question where we have a field set for the answers. But I need to use that H3, right? I have to use that. So I need to use the H3 header though. So will this cause issues? Since your task requires using the H3 header for the question, you should remove it outside the legend to maintain proper semantics rather than inside. Display screen readers. Okay, so then is it even worth it to have a field set? If you're required to use H3, it may not be necessary. Okay, yeah. So let's just go like this. Let's remove the field set altogether. Right. We don't need this legend. We can move the H3 back. Right. And then inside of this, though, we will open up a div container for the answers themselves. Right? So we'll give this class equals, quote, answers. And we'll give this ID is equal to question 1 answers. Okay. Walked to Walmart because ketchup chips were sold out at my local. No worries. Just buy barbecue. It tastes the same. I'm not sure if I've ever had ketchup chips before. Right, so we have a container. So this is going to be a container for the answer, a container for the question itself as a whole, and the container for the multiple choice section. So now let's see what that looks like. Okay. So now, so this is what I have here. Your update structure looks good. You simplify it by removing the field set. Ensure that you handle button clicks. Okay. So let's go up to this JavaScript. And I do have an error here. So I have type error, cannot read properties of null, reading add event listener. Okay, so it's doing that because so let me take my script and just temporarily move it to the bottom of my page and see what happens here. Okay, that removes that. Okay, button clicked. So this, if I click anywhere in this form though, it's a button click. So I can't do that. I need to access the individual button. So what am I actually doing is I'm taking out of it listening on question 1. So I need to basically do this for each button. So I need to, if I'm accessing question 1, right, which is here. And then I need to add and access question 1 answers. Dot query selector so why don't I just actually don't even query the question 1, I'll just query the question 1 dash answers, right? So now, but that's to this container. So I don't want to query that actually. I want to give this an ID or a class. No way. Can I access a data dash correct attribute within a query selector method? Yes, you can access the data correct attribute within the query selector method using the dataset property. The dataset property allows you to access any data attribute and element. Oh, but it's going to access this first button. I don't want to do that. Well, that is correct. Button.dataset.correct. We finished the lecture yesterday, Tim. We finished the part 2 yesterday. Okay. So if I do a query selector on questions answers, now if I do it just on button, what happens? Right, if I do it just on button, it's only going to go for this first one. Okay, button clicked. But if I click the second one, nothing happens. Yep. Okay. So I need to go ID is equal to, I'll go button ID equal to quote incorrect equal quote incorrect, no, correct, and then ID here quote incorrect. So we're going to search for incorrect 1, incorrect 2, I guess. So we're going to search for a ID of incorrect 1, right? Incorrect answer. Right? But do I have to do this function basically for every single one? Which seems kind of redundant. This would be correct answer. Right, so now if I refresh, right, if I collect 3, incorrect answer, 5, incorrect answer, but 4, correct answer. Okay. So I'll first take this guy here and see if it likes my changes. How do my changes look? Your changes are looking good. You've organized the questions to answer clearly. Here are few points to refine or consider moving forward. Button IDs. While the ID attributes for the buttons are functional, it's better to ensure each ID is unique. You use correct, which is fine for now, but in the future, if you add more questions, consider using dynamic IDs for each button to avoid conflicts like correct 1, ID correct 2. Okay, so we'll say correct 1. The data correct attribute is great for tracking correctness, but it would be more accessible if you included option 3 incorrect or something scripted to clarify what buttons do. Now that you've added unique data values for each, but you can easily check it. Button styling. Okay, so then we'll say, okay, I have some JavaScript written. I do not want you to show me any code, but instead tell me possible areas of improvement. No, I am going to show you mine first. Okay. Your JavaScript is functional, but there are a few potential improvements to make it more efficient and scalable. Repetitive code. Here we go. You are repeating similar code for each button. Instead of adding individual event listeners for each button, consider using a loop or event delegation. This way, you add more questions or buttons in the future, your code will be easier to extend and maintain. Avoid alert for user feedback. While alert works for quick feedback, can be intrusive and disrupt the user's experience. Consider providing updates by updating the DOM, changing the button colors, or showing the message on the page, instead of using alert. And then the event prevent default on buttons. Since the buttons are not submitting a form, you don't need to call prevent default unless you plan to handle other behaviors. It's fine if the button is standard button. Okay, using the event delegation. If you plan to have more buttons or dynamically add content later, it's better to use the event delegation. You want to add an event listener to the parent. and handle all the question buttons clicked within it. Hmm. Hey Ryan, welcome back in. How's it going? Okay, so now what? So it said to use a loop, basically. Well, true. So what do I have to do basically then to ensure that my loop, or that I can access each button independently? Hmm. Let's see here. Um, so let's remove this. You can remove this and this. Okay. Document query selector. So we can say what, like, while true, um, continually do query selector. Continually do that. Right. Continually query select for so do we want to say I can run a while true loop to constantly check for button clicks on the div answer class, right? Yeah, you can use a while true loop to constantly check for button clicks, but that's not the most efficient or appropriate approach for this kind of interaction. Using an infinite loop could block the user's browser's main thread, making the page unresponsive, potentially freezing it. Instead, you should rely on Event Listener to handle button clicks in an event-driven manner. The browser will automatically call your function when a button is clicked without needing to constantly pull for events. You can use event delegation on the parent event of the buttons, like okay, so event delegation works by adding an event listener to the parent. Okay, so we'll add so query selector on the parent. So question one answers, right? So question one answers. We're going to add event listener for click. Okay, so now what happens if I run that? Oh, let me get rid of this while loop. Okay, so now if I click here, incorrect. So I'm getting, if I click anywhere on this same line, I get incorrect answer. Okay, so I'll say this is what I have so far. How does it look? Don't show me any code. I noticed that if I click on the same row that the buttons are on the DOM, the alert is raised, which is not right. You're on the right track with using event delegation, but you're experiencing an issue because the event listener is being triggered by a click inside the question 1 answers container, including clicks on elements other than the button, such as text or whitespace. This happens because the clicked event propagates through all elements inside the container, targeting only buttons. Inside your current setup, with any part of the container is clicked, not just buttons, it triggers the event. You need to check whether the clicked element is a button specifically. It can be done by verifying the type of the clicked element using the event.target or something similar to ensure that the event only fires when a button is clicked. You may also want to stop the event from propagating to higher levels, like the parent elements after it's handled, ensuring it doesn't trigger any unintended listeners higher in the DOM hierarchy. Hmm. Event.target. Can you give me a non-related example of the event.target? Certainly, container, item 1, item 2, item 3. Now when you click on an individual item, in the context of JavaScript, item was add event click, event, if event.target and event.target matches line item button, change the background color. So we have function click on the question 1 answers. Add event listener for click. So we'll say then if event.target and event.target dot matches quote button dot oh. I'm not really stumbling over my thoughts. I'm mainly just trying to actually learn JavaScript here, is the main issue. I just don't know JavaScript. um, so I understand the process of what we're doing, but I'm just trying to actually put it into words here in JavaScript and learn these methods and functions here. I have never used these before, so it's mainly along those lines. Right, so matches button dot, it's going to need a class then. So we'll just do it, we'll give it a class. How about class equals incorrect? Because we want to style it. Class equals incorrect. Class equals correct. Correct. Right. And then say button dot incorrect. Right. Right. If we get that, we want to do the background change. So they actually put it over here like that. So 1.52 1.52K. Wow, awesome. Thank you guys so much. Let's go ahead and check it out for following along with me here. I really appreciate you guys joining me and hanging out with me so far. We've been streaming and learning for about 6-7 months now. It's been quite the journey teaching myself how to code. It's been a struggle at times, but it's been very rewarding. Yeah, we're at 1,525 subs. So thank you guys so much for joining me here and hanging out day after day, working on yourself and also improving together on programming. All right, so now we want to make the event.target.style dot so does background color apply to buttons? Yes, the background color does apply to buttons. Background color then equals to quote some color equals to quote red. Like so. So what happens now? That works. Okay. Yo, no way! Okay, that worked. Yeah, same here, Vendetta. We're in the same boat. I only know Python too. So this has been, it is a struggle, but that's what it's expected at first. Thinking back to when I was first learning Python, it was really a struggle, and it does oftentimes get easy to kind of forget that initial struggle and then kind of be like, okay, I'm struggling, so it's not really working for me, and then, or once you get more advanced and then the struggles get less and less, at least for learning and picking up that basic syntax of new languages, it can be easy to kind of forget that initial struggle. So I really, really, vouch and feel for you guys going through that first pass through, whether it be Python or Java or JavaScript, because yeah, it is hard, and I'm really trying to understand what's going on here. So, okay, so then else if how can I do an else if in in JavaScript? Okay, it's else if like that. Else if um, event.target, this guy here, basically. equals green. So incorrect. Oh, so this needs to now say button dot correct. Yes. All right. Woo! Nice. Make sure to give a thumbs up for that. We got these buttons to change color on press, so that's pretty cool too. Walking home, awesome. Honestly, I'm having almost no issues with Python except time. Would ace my midterm, but ran out of time on my last question. Otherwise, I'd get a perfect score. It's nice, dude. Slower but more efficient code is more important to me. Yeah, same here. I really like taking my time and understanding it rather than just kind of trying to collect languages like Pokemon is what I people are really trying to fill their Pokedex for the resume, I guess. Hey everyone, Hey everyone, we are back and ready. You know what time it is? Time to code. Hey Carlos, welcome. Welcome back. What chapter are you on now of Python Crash Course? Throwback to writing out code for exams with pencil and paper, PTSD. First learn Python, the rest. C++, JavaScript, HTML are easy. Beat me to it. I was going to correct that. Where's the Pokemon cards? I've been slacking. We're gonna go on Amazon later this stream and we're gonna pick out a box that we like, and I'll go get it. um. Okay. So I'll say I'll give here my little teacher. I'll say, okay. I think I got it working for the most part. Please let me know what you think, but don't show me any code. I can make the changes on my own. Okay, let's take our JavaScript here for changing the color of the button, and let's throw that in there. Your code looks pretty solid, and you're using event delegation effectively. A few things to consider for possible improvements. Reactivity. You're changing the button's color on click, which works well. You might want to add some visual feedback, like disabling the buttons after they're clicked to prevent further clicks or make the interaction more user-friendly. Reset button styles. After one button is clicked, either correct or incorrect, if the same question is revisited or a new question is introduced, the button styles might persist. You might want to consider resetting the button styles for future interactions. Event unwanted event propagation. If there are nested elements or interactions that could potentially trigger events. Performance. Okay. Interesting. So now we have effectively yeah, go deep on 2 to 3 languages. Yeah, that's kind of our goal here. Yeah, viewing it as a language makes it 100 times easier to code. It's like English versus broken English versus old English. My language is like learning. My goal is like learn Python, then machine learning, then HTML, CSS, and deploy apps with my models that solve problems. That's really cool. I'm kind of on a similar path. Still on chapter 10, Python Crash Course. I'm just getting back to the book because I'm also doing other courses and I had to get up to date. Hopefully we can pass it today. Sweet, dude. And the phone. Okay, so okay, so now what do we need to do? So if the user clicks a button with incorrect, the button should turn red and the text should appear beneath the question that says incorrect. So so I need to basically have, so below, I say correct versus incorrect. What happens if I do that? Okay, that puts that there. Okay. So then we'll say we'll make this a paragraph and basically make this say correct, and then we'll copy this down and make this say incorrect, and then we need to say paragraph. This will be we'll give this a class equal to quote class is equal to response maybe class is equal to quote response. Oop, disconnected. Let's reload here. Come on, don't quit on me now. What happened? Thanks so much, guys, for following along and throwing a thumbs up on the stream. I really appreciate you guys joining me here. I stream every single day around 7 p.m. PST, where we teach ourselves basic computer science topics and hopefully dive into some more in-depth ones as we get better with our learning here. So I appreciate you guys for following along, throwing a thumbs up on the stream if you could. It really helps to get new people into the stream and community and keep it growing here, which is super fun. So let's go like this. Let's say, because I don't really know where to go from here in terms of like how to actually implement this, just for lack of knowledge. So we just need to do some research on it. So we'll say, don't show me code, but I am trying to implement a feature where text will appear indicating correct or incorrect depending on the selected button. I am having trouble, or I don't understand how to make text appear or have it be hidden initially. To implement a feature where your text indicating correct or incorrect appears based on the buttons, like you could follow this general approach. Create a text element. You'll need an HTML element like div, span, or paragraph to hold the feedback. CSS for hiding the text. You can set the element's display to none initially or use visibility hidden. Okay, so that's the feature. Okay, so let's do that like we had before. I was on the right track. So we have a paragraph where we have this will be a class equal to response. We'll say answer response, right? And then we'll give this one a unique ID of quote correct answer. Response, right? And so in here will be correct. So what I'll do is I'll copy this paragraph down, make this class answer response. ID is incorrect answer response, and then make the text incorrect. Cool. So now what I'll do is I will open up styles.css. I'm going to go access here my ID for correct answer response. So we're going to say visibility equals hidden, like such. So now what happens if I refresh? That takes that one away. Perfect. So now I'm also going to include on here incorrect answer response. And that should take the other one away too. No. How can I include multiple like that? Yes. Perfect. So now those are hidden, both of them, via that identification. Okay. So if this is selected red, we want to set the incorrect event. We want to set the how can I access let so if we go red, we want to display the incorrect response, the incorrect thing. So we'll say we'll say question All right, so let's go ahead and we'll see what it has in. If you assign them as false, then true for each specific one on click, how would that work? I'm not sure. Like I said, I am pretty new at HTML, CSS, so I'm really not sure exactly how it would work in that sense. But okay, this is what I added. Looks like you're on the right track. Here's some feedback. Initially hiding the elements. You want to hide the correct initially. A common approach is to use CSS. So we'll say this is my CSS. Your CSS looks like a good start by using visibility hidden. You're ensuring that the elements are still part of the document flow but not visible on the screen. However, there's one thing to consider. Visibility versus display. Visibility hidden keeps the elements in the document flow, meaning it takes up space but it's not visible. If you want to hide the elements completely, no, it's fine. You want to change the feedback to visible. Okay, so inside of our JavaScript now, when we go red, we want to basically change that value. So we need to go and select document.query selector on the quote ID of correct answer response. Right? We're going to get that. incorrect. So I select this, and then I need to toggle its visibility dot style dot visibility equals visible quote. Right? So now let's try that. Okay. Oh, let's go. So this is incorrect, sorry. Like that. I go back, refresh. Ooh, whoa! Let's go. Now if I select this, incorrect. No, we don't get that. Okay, so now it's not displaying. So now we need to do the same thing. But we need to also toggle the other one. So I'm going to copy this basically down and do correct answer, style, visibility, invisible. And then, or hidden, sorry. To hide the correct response. And basically invert that for the code below. So this will be correct, becomes visible, incorrect becomes hidden. Okay, so now if I load this, I select the incorrect answer, I get incorrect. If I select the correct answer, I get correct. Oh, whoa! Woo! All right. I guess in lecture we've seen something like inner HTML or not. Yes, we have seen inner HTML. That did come up a few times. Now I haven't ever used it though. We're doing the trivia problem set? Yeah, we are. Trivia. Okay, so now we're getting that correct. Incorrect, correct, incorrect, correct, incorrect. Perfect. Now how can I have those basically happen on the same line? How can I have two P paragraphs appear on the same plane? Block level. Inline. Using inline, this will make one. Can you show me an example of inline? Set the property element to display the inline. So let's go, this is answer response. So we'll go to styles and we'll go here, we'll go hashtag is dot answer response, like so. And then we'll do display inline. Ah, there we go. I mean, it doesn't replace the word though, which is kind of what I wanted it to do. All right, take a crack at this. You got it. You could treat the p tag as a container for the correct and incorrect value. Yeah, and update the inner HTML to correct and incorrect value rather than toggle hidden or not. Oh, I get you. That's a good idea. So rather than toggling hidden and then having two different elements that's giving us this effect, we could have one element and then just toggle the inner HTML. That's a good idea. So let's do that. Let's take away this p element here for incorrect. Let's change this to answer response ID is going to be question 1, Q1 answer response. Correct. So then we'll change the styles back. We don't need that, I guess. So then we'll change here. Let's just remove, for the example, this one. We'll change. Incorrect. The class is answer response. So we'll change. We'll go to query selector. Answer response. Q1 answer response. Q1 answer response. Style. Rather than style, we'll do dot inner HTML becomes quote incorrect, like so. And then we'll copy this over down here and make this correct. So then, but I need to initially have this unexpected token at unexpected token at init line 48. All those are closed, so then we need to do this like that. Okay. Unexpected end of input, line 53. So this needs one there. What's going wrong here? Let me just go like this then. Let me take this guy. Else if dot correct green correct 43, something like that. Then I have it at 55. So this parenthesis is not closed. Oh, because I need to close here like that, and then close that there, and that there. There we go. Inner HTML is not a function. Is better. It's dot inner equals quote correct. Oh, gotcha. So it's not a function. Equals quote correct. Equals quote incorrect. Okay, so we go here. Okay, so then we'll initially make it blank, right? So we'll initially make it blank. And so now it's blank. We select this, incorrect, correct, incorrect. Yes! All right, cool. That's cool. What do you guys think about that so far? You guys like that? Okay, right? So we select, oh, what's 2 plus 2? 3, incorrect. How about 5? Incorrect. Still, and 4, correct. I mean, we could do another check to basically say if it's already correct, then say like incorrect again. Something like that. You like Colby, that looks good? Cool. Why can you select all? What do you mean, why can you select all? Oh, I mean, you can, it's just how you can select any button, I guess. I don't have any JavaScript to make it so you can't select any button, the other two. Okay, so now, incorrect. Okay, we'll say we need to change this to just lowercase incorrect. And change this to just correct, title case. Okay? If the user clicks on a button with the correct answer, the button should turn green. The text should appear beneath the question that says correct, exclamation mark, and incorrect. In index.html, add beneath part 2 a text-based free response question of your choosing. Okay, so we'll do a form. I think that's it for this part. What do you guys think? Do you guys like what we have so far? This is what we have so far. What is 2 plus 2? Oh, that's incorrect. That's correct. That's incorrect. All right. So I can kind of see how like it really might take like it might be really useful if you're going to build some sort of site or project using HTML to really take a second beforehand. Is this typical for you guys that are web developers in here? Is it typical to like take a second with your team or with whatever to before you start like a new page or product or something? Do you outline and get a really, really solid understanding of every like parent-child relationship um, on the entire document or DOM itself? Because I can start to see how, if you start to limit yourself in terms of relationships and you just start to kind of throw everything within the same containers, it can start to be really hard to actually edit individual things. But if you have so many containers that it gets really hard to then follow. So is there some sort of sweet spot to be hitting, like in terms of, pause, that's what she said, but is there some sort of sweet spot that can, ultimately be achieved to cause this less headache, because I can already start to find myself just in this simple example being like, okay, I have a div within a div within a div within another div. And so, but if I didn't have all these divs, then I wouldn't be able to access each one of these specific things. So before you go into a feature, it's like, is it key to like, is it key to um, pre-plan out all of the depth of the parent-child relationships within this feature so that you can have all those distinguished elements for whatever you want to actually edit. What are some tips to keep it all organized is basically like I'm saying. Or is there some sweet spots where, okay, I have too much nesting going on now and it's just like, I don't know. But if it requires that much, people just put each line in a div itself. Oh yeah. Okay. So if you say like each line on the page is a div itself, if that's a feature, then I see what you're saying. Okay, so let's do the next part of the problem. So the next part of the problem wants us to, right here, is add basically a form. So we have a section right here. I'm going to open up a div with a class equal to quote question and an ID equal to question 2. And I'm going to close that. I'm going to say H3 for the heading and say, what is your favorite programming language? Right? That'll be our header. So this one wants an input field to let the users type a response and should use a button. So we're going to do a forum. What is the diff between a forum and a input? The difference between a forum and input in HTML, a forum is a container of elements that holds various input elements like text fields, boxes, radio buttons, along with buttons that submit the data. The form tag is used. The input is a specific element used to collect place within a form. Okay. So we'll need to we'll create so this is question 1. Oh, come on. Disconnected. You're disconnected. Have you guys seen that old school meme where that kid is like he's recording on his like Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops with his iPad. He's like, guys, I think he disconnected, and it goes black, and so you can see the reflection of the kid's like in his drawers. That one's funny. Let me know if that one sounds familiar. What you're referring to is called div soup, worth Googling. Okay, we'll give it a look here. I think largely over building X amount of pages, you'll realize where you want certain divs. Oh, building over X amount of pages, you'll realize where you want certain divs, which ones will get what CSS. I don't pre-plan per se, but I know, for example, I'll need to have a home page. It will have, say, 2 flex columns, and in that, I will have a container for my call to action button and title for div 1, column 1. I know I'll have some photo and some text in div 2, which will be column 2 in the flex box. Okay, so kind of with some practice and understanding, you'll kind of feel for how general formats and flows typically work for these kinds of things. Okay. We'll take that word for it, and in practice, we'll hopefully get a better grasp. So this is our free response. So we have, what is your favorite programming language? Right, we're going to then open up another div. Class question. Why is this kind of nested like that? Like that, there we go. Okay, so we have this, H3. We're going to open up a div here. um, where the class is equal to answers, right? The ID is going to equal question to answer, right? And then that'll close this div, right? Inside of here, we're going to open up a form. We're going to have we're going to leave off autofocus. We're going to, let's go to our hello here. So in this form, we had autocomplete off. Okay, so autocom off. Right? No, that was for the input. The form doesn't get that. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. There we go. See you, Zanab. Thanks so much for joining me on this Friday. Appreciate you guys joining me. Anybody have any cool plans for this weekend coming up? We're gonna do some streams this weekend. Should be a lot of fun. I'm gonna try to pick up some Pokemon cards for us to do some pack openings, like maybe a pack of stream, and then we'll select a user to give that away to at the end of the stream. I think that'll be super fun. Or maybe we'll save up like 2 or so packs and we'll give it away every 2 packs or something, because having to mail out a piece of mail a day would be kind of a lot. Okay, so we have a form here where we're going to have an input where we're going to do autocomplete equals quote off. We'll put ID is equal to quote free response answer. We'll say Q2 ID. Bro, gonna be living at the post office. Project and problem set, just grinding. Yeah, same here. Literally. ID. So in this form, or in this, what we have, ID is name, name equals name, type equals text, placeholder equals name. So we'll say ID equals to question to answer. We'll say free response rather. Free response answer. We'll set the name equal to quote free response answer. We'll set the placeholder equal to quote language, and then set the, what else do we need? Type to text. And then close the input. And then we need a button for submit type. Input type submit. So we need a button of type quote submit. Right. So let's see how that looks. Oop. Trivia. Boom. Okay, now we got part 2. What is your favorite programming language? Language, submit. Cool, so that does, so we need to make sure that the submit button does not cause an actual event. We need to ignore the submit event. Oh, wait. Okay, then I guess we'll have to say for the free response question, we need to do a specific check on the question itself. So we have to say, um, not what's your favorite programming language. We'll say just what is 2 plus 2 again, I guess. Right. And then, cool. So now we need to do some JavaScript here and say, document dot query selector quote. We want to select. What do we want to query? We want to query the submit button, right? Or that's our event handler. So we want to query the submit button though. So the ID of the submit button, we'll say ID equals to quote free response submit. Right, so we're going to query selector the ID of quote hashtag free response submit close quote ID we're querying this one, we're going to add event listener where we're going to look quote for submit type, and we're going to run a function on the event where we will indicate and specify right, we're going to specify within this function we'll say if event on submit event.target. So what does the event.target do again? Hey, 15 grams of lasagna, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, welcome back. Grad level stats homework. Good luck to you, my friend. If event, so we're waiting for a submit call, right? So on a submit, okay, so I'll actually query the form, right? Like I did. I'll add event listener for the submit function event alert with that value and prevent default. So we'll say if So we'll say actually let user input equal to the document dot query selector on the hashtag free response submit. No. The free response answer right? So we're gonna get the user input, which is the free response answer, right? So free response answer is the input here. Not equal to if user input not equal to 4 right, what do we want to do? The text field should turn red and text should appear beneath the question that says incorrect. Okay, so if event.target started reading some documentation for one. What do you mean for one? Which documentation you've been reading? Thanks for coming in. We are live on Twitch, you guys. So if you guys are interested in watching on Twitch, you can join us on there. Link it's just Michael Deming on Twitch. Okay, so I at least want to finish this problem before today, right? Because I know we've been going for 2 hours on this alone. So I mean, I feel bad, but this is our first time ever really using JavaScript, HTML, and CSS all together. So yeah, it's going to take us a little bit to kind of wrap our head around and get some familiarity with it, just like with anything. So, all right, so what does this event do though? On click, if the event.target and event.target matches, what does event.target do? In JavaScript, event.target refers to the element that's triggered the event. It's a property of the event object and gives you a reference to the DOM element that fired the event, like a button, input field, or link. For example, if you attach a click event to multiple buttons, event.target will give you the specific button that was clicked. Okay. So this is the class. So what class does this have? Answers. Input doesn't have a class associated with it. Has an ID. Button has a type class. So we get the user input. Hey, Not Neil, welcome. I've been reading the documentation on the Chromium embedded framework instead of going in blindly, and it's working out pretty well. I'm already 10x further ahead than I was yesterday. Sweet, dude. Yeah, that pre-work and loading definitely helps you, just being prepared before you go in. It doesn't mean to match with null. Matches. Yeah, so it can't be null. So, yeah, I got you. So we'll say we'll let the user target equal get the user input. if user input does not equal 4, I don't really know. So do we need to say the thing again? If event.target and event.target matches quote input dot or submit no button dot submit button dot class for this button is equal to free response submit. No, that's already the ID. Question to submit. I guess we could just call it whatever. Question to submit. We get the user input. If event target and event.target matches question to where'd you go? You were up here. Question to dash submit matches button dot question to dash submit. Yeah. So dot submit. Right. Right. Then event dot target, which is the form document dot query selector on the input field. Input dot style dot background color equals to quote red. No, so I don't need to specify the specific button pressed. That's for this. So I think I can just do this here. Right. Where I say if user input does not equal to 4, right, then we'll go here and take this guy, put it there, right, and then else, if it does, else user else if user input is equal to 4. If it's not equal to 4, well then by default else it is, right? So we don't even need to do this. Else document dot query selector quote input dot style dot background color equals to quote green, like that. So now if we go here, 2 plus 2, 4, we want to the event might be able to give you the DOM element. Right, like I did before. So let's go here. Let's see. I got no issues on my thing here. Before submit. So we want to ignore. We need to do the ignore though, right? So prevent default at the end of that query. Like so. Here. 4. Huh. 5. Incorrect. Say 4. Submit user equals to 4. Huh. Why can't I determine if it is equal to 4? So I'm not, else if user input is equal to 4, why is it not turning green on this submit? So I give it a non-integer 4, 7. That doesn't work. If I delete 5, why? What's the heck? Why does it do that? Query selector form. Listen for submit on the form. If you get a submit event on the form, the event if the event target matches No, we don't want to. The event will be the button itself, so I don't want to change the button color. That's why I'm trying to change the, which is where the event is being triggered on the submit button. We're almost there. We're almost there. So then, I don't know why my user input. So I'm going to take this part here. Let's take my part 2 here that I have, and let's go take this one here, section 2. We'll say, I am moving on to the next section of the problem where I need to create a free response question and validate the answer. Don't show me code, but here is what I have so far. Looks like you're working on a free response question to validate the answer. You'll need to check whether the user input matches the expected answer. For this question, you're asking what's 2 plus 2. The correct answer is 4. Here's a general strategy to help. Input validation. When the user submits their answer, you'll want to compare the values entered with 4. Feedback. Based on the comparison you showed, you can show a success message. How does my current structure or HTML look? Is well structured, but I noticed a small issue with the form element. By default, submitting the form will reload the page unless you prevent it with JavaScript. Okay, yeah, which I am. Autocomplete is misspelled. Oh. Form structure. So ID free response submit. Button type submit is correct. Okay, cool. Likes it. Okay, so you're telling me that the query selector, if the type is text, so it has to equal quote 4. Right, because this probably returns a text because the type of this box is text. So now if I go here, reload, if I go here, put in 4, red. Reload, 5, red. So 4 isn't even working. So we'll say, here is my JavaScript for this part. Don't show me code. I am not quite getting the output I desire. Where could I be going wrong? So this is my code here. Looks like you're on the right track with adding the event listener and preventing the form from submitting, but there are a couple of things you might be causing the issue. Accessing the input value. You're comparing the user input itself, let user input equal document query string free response answer, rather than you're comparing the user input element itself rather than the okay, so I need to do dot value. Yeah, dot value there. So now, if I refresh this, I go 5, submit, error. If I go 4, submit, green. Let's go! All right, so we needed the value returned from this element, okay? What's your... Okay. So now we need to add basically that same paragraph thing that we had before for correct, incorrect, right? So we had this guy here, Control C. This will go right here below here. Class is answer response for question 2 answer response. And then I'm going to take this code here basically. So I need to display if they put 4, we're going to call document dot query selector on the quote hashtag question 2 answer response, and then we're going to change its dot inner HTML equal to quote incorrect close quote, right? I'll take that, paste it down here, and make this correct. So now if I run, I type in 5, incorrect. I type in 4, correct. 3, incorrect. Oh, baby. Let's go. Nice. Okay. How do you guys like that? Okay, now if the user types the press confirmation button, the input field should turn green and the text should appear beneath the question that says correct. All right, I think that's done. I think we're done. Okay, we've successfully added in a H3 heading onto the text. We have a button, one button for each possible choices with 3 buttons, one of which should be correct. Using JavaScript, add logic so the buttons change colors when they're clicked. If the user clicks on a button with an incorrect answer, the button should turn red and text should appear beneath the question that says incorrect. If a user clicks on a button with the correct answer and the button turns green, it should say correct. In part 2, we use H3. We use an input field and a submit button. We add JavaScript to change the color of the text field if their answer is either incorrect or correct, and then add that verbiage back. Okay, let's go ahead and try this one. No check 50 for this one, as implementation will vary based on questions, but be sure to test both incorrect and correct responses for each of your questions to ensure that your web page responds appropriately. Awesome. Do you guys think we satisfied all the requirements? What do you guys think? Are we done with this one? Is anybody out there? Hello? My friends. Banana time. What do we think? I think this one looks pretty good. Everybody agree? Yeah? So we say 1 incorrect, 4 correct. Let's see. There's no check 50, so it's basically just, is it done? It's done. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like it? We think we satisfy all the requirements? You should try to add string validation. What do you mean string validation? In what way? Because right now I am validating the string as either for or not. Greetings from Taco Land, man. Hey, dude, how's it going? Welcome back, Brian. Is it Brian? Is it normally pronounced Brian? Add another input to check the correctness of a string. Add another input to check the correctness of a string. Oh, like that's a question in the trivia or something? Yeah, full stack level program develop, God level right here, right? Look at this full stack application we made here, or front end, sorry. Or I don't even know if it's if right. What happens if you put instead of for, does it work? Oh, for, incorrect? No. So then we need to say or user input. Does this use like C does? Or user input is equal to quote for? Or incorrect. So I guess that's not how you validate a string. So how can we, I don't really know how strings work in JavaScript. And you guys have any suggestions for how strings work in JavaScript? How do strings work in JavaScript? Oh, is the or correct in JavaScript? No. Backticks. Template literals can also be used in closing backticks. String methods. Length to uppercase. Trim, replace. Dot. Um, so we have an uppercase methods here. Two uppercase, two lowercase. Two lower case. So we'll convert the string to lowercase. Hmm. Let snack equal quote potato chip. Nice, Richard. Which one did you do tonight? So I'm not appropriately validating for input of quote of just for. That's incorrect. So else if user input is equal to this or for. Let me ask here. Don't show me code, but why does this not work? It looks like you're trying to handle both numeric and contextuals like for and for, which is a good approach, but there are a couple of things to check for. But is the input element as a reference, you need to use the user input dot value. No, I'm already doing that one. White space, lowercase handling. And then we'd obviously want to do stripping white space too. Dot, what is a strip? Trim. So dot trim. Compares the values and converts types. So do I need strict equality? No, that doesn't work either. Hmm. Uh, when SBA web. What's SBA web? Min subsequence. Okay, I know y'all are thinking that's for babies, but it was only my fourth problem solved without help, so I'm technically a baby. You got it, man. Good job for you, dude. Triple. So then that still doesn't work though. Four. Incorrect. Four. Incorrect. Oh, is it template literals? So is it like back? Oh, is it backtick? Backtick? Four? No. Meh. Hmm. Yeah, I use AI as like a teacher. I specify in each of my entries to not show me code. That is one of my key approaches that I found is really successful when learning. Is if you have to preface it every time you prompt to basically do to not show you code. I just wanted to kind of break down and this is my first ever like attempt at building anything using JavaScript and stuff. So I've never done any syntax with it. So I'm using it as more of a tool for learning rather than as well. Use equals instead of trim. Okay, so like to look up various methods and things like that. Why won't this doesn't work still? So four incorrect. Same ID. Hmm. How long did it take to be where you are right now? This is, like I said, this is my first ever attempt at JavaScript and using it. We just finished the lecture yesterday in CS50X for finishing week 8 in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I've been coding for about 6, 7 months though, and I'm fairly intermediate and fluent in Python though. So in JavaScript, you want to compare if two strings are equal, you do quote dog triple equal to quote dog return true. Okay. Hmm. Well, I put that there and it didn't work still. Maybe it does. Let me see. Four? Incorrect. Hmm. So I'll say, don't show me code, but the string evalu is not working. It is working for the integer 4. Your updated condition looks much better using the trim and lowercase to handle most of the issues. Since you're using triple, it ensures that the input matches the string 4 after trimming and converting to lowercase. This is a good practice because it avoids type coercion. You're removing any white spaces, which is great. Event app should work instead. Input itself. Hmm. So we put in 4 here. Incorrect. 4. Incorrect. 4. Correct. So why? So I'll take the full thing then. Let's just take the full thing and we'll feed it and say The OR condition is still not working. Where am I going wrong? Don't outright tell me, but guide me to the location and answer. Looks like you're on the right track with your logic, but there's a subtle issue with how you're handling the comparison for quote 4. Order of evaluation. Notice that if your if condition checks if user input is not quote 4. Ah. But I have else if. If the input doesn't exactly match quote 4, it won't proceed through to check for. So then we'll just say this then. We'll go like this. If, we'll just take this basically here, all of this, there, and then we'll make this else if user input, this will just be else, right? Because any other input is not valid. And then we can remove this altogether and then keep the event prevent default here to avoid the submission. Now if we do this, submit, do for green. Woo! Haha! Okay, that's cool. So it was just that order of operations, it was if it wasn't equal, but yeah, right away it wasn't equal, so it wasn't even getting to that second elif statement. Is console.log just basically the print statement? What is console log? All right. So now it's working appropriately for the validation. So because we had this flip-flopped where we had if it does not equal to 4, that specifically was causing it to stay within there and throw an incorrect, and then not even evaluate that second if because, or that second else. Hey, Wolf, how's it going? Thanks for joining me, you guys. All right, we just completed the problem 1 trivia in CS50X week 8 on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We successfully were able to create a basic trivia game to answer these questions. What's 2 plus 2? Well, if we select the incorrect answer, this highlights as red for that specific button, and it displays incorrect to us. If we give the other incorrect answer, the same thing happens. But if we provide the correct answer, that flips to correct, and that just shows in green. Now, if we have what is 2 plus 2, we give 1, that's incorrect. But if we give 4, that's correct. And if we also give 4 in verbiage, that's correct. And we can also give 4 uppercase and be correct. And we can also give 4 with a space and be correct. We can give a bunch of spaces. Why is it doing that? Why is it giving me a period on like spacing? And it'll still work due to those methods that we did to validate input like that. So super, super cool. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and submit this one. Let me know if you guys think that it's all good, and we'll head and move on here. Submit 50. Oh no, let's control C out of here. There we go. Nice, we're in trivia. Woohoo! Nice. I don't have any reset going on. I just have it, just a one-time use. Now I could add, if we wanted to, a reset, but it didn't really specify in the problem that it it'll reset back. It says that you should have at least one button for each of the possible choices, 3 choices. Using JavaScript, the buttons change color when the user clicks on them. If the user clicks on a button with an incorrect answer, the button should turn red. It doesn't actually specify for us to, flip them back, but we could add it if we wanted to, right? All right, really quickly here. What is it going on here? Did that? What's going? Why was that infinite looping? Why? Submit 50. Let's see. Did it work? Yes. Uploading. Cool. All right, we can try to implement that really quickly. I'll go until about 10 o'clock here today, guys. My girlfriend's here with me this weekend, visiting me. So I'm going to spend some time with her this evening and, hang out with her. But I wanted to hop on and hang out with you guys. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 45 minutes so far. So I'll hang out until about 10 o'clock and then we'll sign off. But I'll be back tomorrow. We'll come on for an early stream in the morning and then possibly a part two at our normal time in the evening as well. So be on the lookout for the update and the announcements in the Discord link down below, completely for free if you want to get access to all my resources, from my weekly updates for the course I'm taking to books that you see in the background via Python Crash Course, Data Structures and Algorithms, Python Machine Learning. You can get access to all of those books for free. And then you can also chat with me and get access to community resources and everything else. Okay, so let's think here. If we were to try to reset the state back, right, if we select on um, hmm, hmm. So this sets the event and then displays the word incorrect. Now, if they click it again, can we basically access the question one answers minus this button target or something like that? When you detect the user types into the input, you can reset that one easily. Just look for a type basically. So when they press submit, okay, so you'll look for a query select add event of typing in the form. That'll reset the form. Okay, so we basically do this. We want to detect if someone's typing. So what I'll do is I'll nest this down. I'll come here and go document.query selector for quote form dot add event listener for what type? What's some of my events? Load, change, click, drag, blur, key upload, move mouse over, touchdown, unload. What would be an event for typing? Input or key down. Okay, key down, right? And then we'll listen for key down. If you get key down, you want to run a function if we get a key down, we want to set the color back to basically none or white. What is it by default? Uh, So the key down, we then will go ahead and run a function here for resetting the color and hiding. So we'll need to, on key down, we'll take function event right. So event. So the event itself was the key down on the input. So we can do event dot target, which was the input box, right? Dot style dot background color equals quote. Is there a default background color? White. So we'll just say white. We'll set the background color to white. But that'll be like on every single keystroke, it'll set it to white. But it's whatever, I don't know. And then we need to hide the previous statement. So the document dot query selector for quote q2 dash answer response quote dot inner HTML equals to none, just a blank string. So then is we're already doing a listen for on a form. So we could basically just take this here and just add it to the add event listen for submit here, like such. So now if I reload this, oh, so I need to go http-server, open index.html. So now if I go for submit, shoot. So that's doing the submit still. So we're listening for key downs. If we get a key down, oh, response here. So it's doing a submission. Prevent default. So then let me back up here. Let me change this to response. Let me just instead do this. And then wrap it inside of here like such. Now will that all background color? So let's go inspect. Console. Okay, it works for. Can I set properties null inner HTML? So I can't set it to null or a blank string. Line 64, 62. Yeah. What if I just say A here for test? A. No. So it's tricky, my bad. No worries. I'm just gonna go back to how I had it before in my earlier submission. It's honestly okay. We'll climb that mountain a different day. We done enough for the actual problem here. Get rid of that. Remove that. Now we load 3, 5, 4, 1, incorrect. 2, correct. 4, submit. 5, 4, incorrect. Nice. 5, incorrect. Okay. Cool. We're back to square one here. All right. We'll climb that mountain a different day. No worries. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here, you guys. We streamed for 2 hours and 53 minutes today. This was honestly really, really helpful. I got a lot of really good practice in understanding what the actual query selector and add event listener do. I have a feeling that these two methods are some of the most common methods used when handling these event requests and handling what to do at certain events for web pages and HTML. So I definitely am grateful for today for that aspect that we were able to get a good 2 hours and 54 minutes, almost 3 hours of practice actually writing in HTML and styling in CSS, but also getting more familiarity with these ID versus class versus all these other aspects, and then accessing with the query selectors those IDs, those classes, those whatevers, and then also listening for various events pertaining to these query selections, these div boxes or containers, and what happens, listening for events inside of these containers. Now I was also able to understand this event functionality here now that was brought up before, where you can actually capture the event that took place, right? So that you can run a function on that event, right? So the event itself was in this case a click. Well, where did that click occur? You can find the target of that click, which would give you obviously a click on some button, and then you can detect if that button matches a specific class, or for a button.incorrect class. So this button did match an incorrect button class, a class that was specified as incorrect for an incorrect answer. So when it was clicked, it throws you that incorrect and changes its color to red. And because we're actually on the button for the event.target is that button, we can just call style.background color equals red to actually change the background color and style of that button itself, which is captured under this event target, right? The target is just the event where, or the place where that event took place, right? So I clicked on that button, so that's where the event target was. If that matches the class button target button dot incorrect, right, then I'm gonna go ahead and change its color and things like that. So this was really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and post an update. I need to post an update in the Discord for week 7, I believe. Still, let's see here. Here's the Discord, you guys. So in Harvard CS50X, I have updates here. So I have up to week 6. So I have just my week 6 on, Python here that we learned about. So I need to go back through it, and tonight or tomorrow I will complete an updated week entry for the week 7 on SQL that we did. That one was really, really fun because we did that one problem. It was honestly a really fun week because it had problems that were more like games, and so we were able to find the mystery thief of that second problem that week, which was really fun, but it was pretty difficult actually, and took us a good almost 3 hours to solve just because of the sheer amount of queries we had to do to cross-reference this entire matrix of information. So, or these various different matrices, because there was multiple of them. So anyways, this is going to be it for today. I might come on maybe late tonight. Again, no promises. This is super in the air, but I might come on late tonight when my girlfriend goes to sleep, just for a straight coding session on the Small Business Manager with some background music. So be on the lookout for the announcement in the Discord for that. But nonetheless, we will be back tomorrow at our usual time, 7 p.m. PST. But I also might do a double feature like I sometimes do on the weekends, for actually and do like a morning session and then our normal session at 7 p.m. So please be on the lookout on that. Join the Discord. Consider hitting a thumbs up on the stream. It really helps to continue having YouTube promote us and suggest our videos to new people. And it's always great when we get new people in the community and we can all learn from each other. So provide your resources in the Discord link below. Thanks so much for joining me, you guys. I really appreciate all the help, for real. Jacob, Allen, you're awesome. Mahan, Chili Millie, Tim, thank you so much for coming in. Who else do we got here? I can shout out Nat Neal, Joe Mac, Nemkos, Wolf. Who else we got here? We got Oskav. We've got Richard. We've got Brian. We've got obviously Chili Millie. I think I said Jaman. We got Smarts. Hall Miniter, he was back in here for a little bit. Thank you so much for jumping back in and helping me out with some suggestions. Awesome. 15 grams of lasagna. I love that name. Joseph Pons, Colby Sprague, you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for jumping in here. Hey, just unloaded. I'm sorry, we're just going to sign off here. We've been streaming for just about 3 hours, so I appreciate you for jumping in and saying hello, but I will be back tomorrow so we can chat tomorrow. So be sure to follow along so we can reconnect tomorrow. Just unloaded. Thank you so much for jumping in here. Have you ever used the Shortcuts app to code? No, I've only seen code in PyCharm and VS Code before, but 99% of my coding is in VS Code. So thank you guys so much for joining me here. My name is Michael. I'm 26 years old. I have been studying and teaching myself Python for about 6-7 months now, or mainly computer science for that matter, as we're diving into more broadened topics and deeper level computer science topics in general. It's been quite the 6-7 months, starting from nothing, but we've come quite a far way, but have a long ways to go. We're currently completing the Harvard CS50X Week 8 problem set. We just completed the first problem trivia. We'll complete the homepage problem tomorrow, and then obviously continue on with our studies from there. After we finish this course, we're going to jump into some more math courses pertaining to Calculus 1, linear algebra, discrete mathematics, and on. And then we're going to hopefully intertwine that together with my background in chemistry and biology, as I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry that I graduated back in 2021. And I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company professionally. So thank you guys so much for joining me this evening and putting up with my yapping and learning here. But again, this one was super, super fun to actually get some actual practice with query selectors and using JavaScript to actually manipulate these events that are happening on our DOM within the HTML itself. So thank you guys so much for being here. I kept saying that, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. Chat with me in the Discord, and I'll see you then. Bye, guys. I have 9 seconds here till 3 hours. We'll wait. We'll wait 9 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.